Hi, welcome to Glitter Glue and Fairy Dust. This is Amy, and today we're going to make this fall deco-mesh wreath. This is a beginner wreath. It's quite easy to put together. It just takes a little bit of time and a little determination. The supplies that you'll need is 4 rolls of deco-mesh. I used all the same color. You'll need 2 ribbons. I used a zigzag striped ribbon, and then a buffalo check ribbon. It's in the same color as the deco-mesh. It's a maroon color. I don't do specific measurements, and I'll tell you how I arrive at my measurements in just a minute. The first thing that you'll do is take your deco-mesh, and I find it's easier with an L square. The first thing you'll do is take your deco-mesh and cut it in 7-inch pieces. I'm using a rotary cutter from the Dollar Tree, and again 7-inch pieces. Now they don't have to be perfectly straight. There's a lot of wiggle room when it comes to deco-mesh. So how I do arrive at my measurements is I cut all of my deco-mesh and all of my ribbon. I'm using a 14-inch wreath form, also from the Dollar Tree. After I put together my ribbon and my deco-mesh, I will divide that in half and then divide that into thirds. That way I get an even number for every section. And if there's any extras, I can fill in wherever I need to. The other thing I am going to use on this, I should have mentioned, is a pumpkin. It's one of the pumpkin stakes that you can get from the Dollar Tree. I take it off of the stake and use it for the middle of the wreath. This is beginner. There's no bows. There's no ribbons except for the ones in the deco-mesh. So I did use that in the middle, and I really like the way it looks. So after I cut my deco-mesh, all 4 rolls, then I cut my zigzag ribbon, and I used 2 rolls of that. I cut that ribbon at 8-inch strips. I'm using my rotary cutter, and it is wired, and the edge kind of has some design, so it is a little bit harder to cut, but it still worked fine with my rotary cutter. And then the buffalo check ribbon, I have 1 roll, and I'm cutting those at 7-inch pieces. The reason I'm cutting those at 7-inch pieces and not 8-inch pieces is they match the deco-mesh, where the other one is going to be more of an accent. After I cut all of my ribbon, I am going to cut dovetails on my ribbon. I have to tell you, when I first start cutting dovetails on any project, I have to think about it. I'm always afraid I'm going to cut it wrong. If you do cut it wrong, it's not that big of a deal. Just recut it. It'll all be fine. I am using chenille stems or pipe cleaners to attach this to the wreath form. I cut mine in thirds. I don't feel like you have to be matchy-matchy because it's not going to show. However, I did have some red sparkly pipe cleaner, and it actually matched just fine, so I'm using that. If you haven't made a lot of wreaths, you may want to keep your chenille stems in halves and just loop it underneath your wreath form. But I like the way, with the thirds, the way it looks, because it keeps the back looking neater, and that's why I did it the way I did it. So now I'm doing the same thing, cutting the dovetails on the ends of the wavy ribbon as well. Once I get all the dovetails cut, I start putting together my bundles. I take 2 bundles of the deco-mesh, just roll it up, and then I take a ribbon. And then I basically bend that bundle in half and then twist the twist tie around it. It's hard to describe, but you can see here what I'm doing. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the closer to half that you can get, the better off it will be. In order to get the right amount of bundles for everything, I basically did all of the wavy ribbon first, and then I did the buffalo check ribbon. I did have a few left over, so basically I just did those crisscross with the deco-mesh with no ribbon, and I could use those as filler pieces if I needed to. So I didn't show me starting it in the very beginning, but here I'm showing you how I attach it. I take one of the ends of the pipe cleaner and attach it to the second rung in from the center, and then I take the other one and attach it on the second one in from the outside. So I'm basically using the inner 2 rungs to attach my deco-mesh bundles to. And basically it ended up being 6 to 7 bundles per section. I did 2 of the ribbon, the wavy ribbon, and 1 of the buffalo check ribbon. And then I would repeat the process. And again, it ended up being approximately 6, but in a couple of them, 7 sections or 7 bundles for each section. As you can see, I haven't fluffed anything, but it looks really full and really fluffy right away. And this is actually a pretty easy way to attach it. There, I'm going to show just a little bit closer. Again, the second one in from the center, I'm going to wrap one of the chenille stem ends around, and the second one in from the outside, I'm going to wrap one of the end of the stems around. Now, if when you go along your sections, you end up having a couple more ribbon pieces together than the wavy ribbon, than the buffalo check ribbon, or vice versa, it's fine. Nobody's going to know the difference. You won't even know the difference once it's finished, I promise. So I just want to thank you for stopping by here today. I know there's lots of channels and lots of choices, so thank you for stopping by here and spending some time together. I'd love it if you could comment and tell me how you're going to do this wreath. If you could like and subscribe, that would be great as well. So when I get to the end of putting all of my bundles on in the sections that I had allotted, I did have a couple extra. I did just go through and pop those in anywhere I thought I could use an extra. It really wasn't necessary to do so. It was full on its own, but I had them, so I used them. So the next thing we're going to do is prepare that pumpkin stake to be put in the middle. I'm not going to paint it or change it in any way that way. All I'm going to do is take the stake off. You will need 4 long pipe cleaners or chenille stems to attach to the back of the pumpkin so that you can attach it to the middle of your wreath. If you don't want that, you do not need it. If you were to put it up just like this, it would be fine. I did remove the raffia that came with it, and what I did was there were some extra pieces of the ribbon. I just took those extra pieces of ribbon, and I had some, I don't know what you would call it. It almost is like, I don't know, lacy ribbon that I had from the Dollar Tree. You can see it there. I just basically put a couple of those pieces and then the extras that I had of the ribbon. I wrapped it with a chenille stem in the middle of it, the half piece, wrapped it, fluffed it, cut off the ends of the chenille stem, and then attached it to the pumpkin. Now, a word about hot glue guns or hot glue. I live in Utah, and right now we're having some fairly warm days. It's getting over 100. Hot glue can melt in 100-degree weather. I have not yet had a problem, but if you're going to be hanging it outside in really hot weather, you may need to use a different type of glue to attach it. I have not had any problems yet, so if you're under 100, you should be fine. I just attached it in equal places all the way around, just a little one in every corner or quarter, excuse me, so that I could attach this to the middle of the wreath. And basically I just attached it just all the way around the form of the wreath. Here it is finished hanging on my door. I love these colors. I think they're great for fall. Thank you for stopping by. I hope to see you again next week. And again, if you could like, comment, and share, that would be great. I hope you have a great day.